Meet Captain Ibrahim Traoré, Africa's youngest head of state and the revolutionary leader reshaping the future of Burkina Faso. In this video, we dive deep into Traoré's rise to power, the bold steps he's taken since taking office, and his powerful vision for national sovereignty, anti-imperialism, and Pan-African unity. Burkina Faso, from leading a military transition to challenging foreign interference, Traoré has sparked conversations across West Africa and beyond. We explore his leadership style, the response of the Burkinabe people, and what his presidency could mean for Africa's political future. Captain Ibrahim Traoré, Burkina Faso's young leader, is charting a new course for the nation. Learn about his revolutionary agenda. At just 35 years old, Captain Ibrahim Traoré is Africa's youngest leader. He is leading Burkina Faso with a bold vision. His quick rise to power has brought big changes. Many are watching to see how his leadership style will shape African politics. As a young African leader, Traoré aims to bring positive change to Burkina Faso. His vision is expected to drive development. Key takeaways: Captain Ibrahim Traoré is the youngest head of state in Africa. He has a revolutionary vision for Burkina Faso. His leadership is significant for the region. Traoré is among the young leaders shaping African politics. His presidency is expected to bring positive change. Captain Ibrahim Traoré is at the center of Burkina Faso's political changes. His journey to fame was quick and significant. We need to look at his early life, education, and military career. These have shaped his leadership and vision for Burkina Faso. Early life and education. Childhood and formative influences. Captain Ibrahim Traoré was born in Burkina Faso. His early years were shaped by the country's unstable politics. He grew up seeing the effects of military coups and political unrest. Military training and career development. Traoré's military training was key to his career. He learned the skills needed for military life and rose through the ranks. His military leadership skills were developed through various roles in the Burkinabe army. The path to political prominence. Key military positions. Traoré's rise to fame came from his military roles. He showed strategic acumen and leadership, earning respect from his peers. These roles highlighted his military skills and political potential. Growing influence in Burkina Faso's army. Traoré's influence in the army grew as he excelled in his career. He was known for his commitment to reform and his ability to inspire loyalty. This influence was key to his rise to leadership in Burkina Faso. The 2022 coup. How Traoré came to power. The 2022 coup in Burkina Faso was a major turning point. It brought Captain Ibrahim Traoré to power. This event came after growing discontent with the previous leadership's handling of security and governance. Political context before the coup. The political landscape before the coup was filled with dissatisfaction. This was with the government led by Paul-Henri Sandaogo Damiba. Damiba's failed promises. Damiba's government failed to keep its promises, especially in fighting the jihadist insurgency. As security concerns grew, trust in Damiba's leadership fell. Growing security concerns. The security situation worsened, with attacks on civilians and military personnel becoming more common. The government struggled to protect its people. The security situation in Burkina Faso has become increasingly dire, with the government struggling to protect its citizens. The September 30th military takeover. The military takeover on September 30th, 2022, was a key event. Captain Ibrahim Traoré took control. Key events of the coup. The coup involved coordinated military actions. Traoré's forces took control of key government and military installations. Early morning military movement. Seizure of strategic locations. Broadcast of Traoré's message to the nation. Initial public response. The public's initial response was mixed. Some welcomed the change due to their dissatisfaction with the previous regime. Aspect pre-coup. Post-coup security situation deteriorating. Uncertain public perception. Distrustful. Mixed leadership. Damiba Traoré coup started a new era in Burkina Faso. Captain Traoré promised to tackle the country's security and governance issues. Captain Ibrahim Traoré. Burkina Faso leadership. In a time of crisis, Traoré's leadership has caught many eyes since he became Africa's youngest leader. He mixes old values with new methods to tackle the country's big problems. Leadership philosophy and approach. Traoré's leadership is built on a few key values. These include national sovereignty. He stresses the need for Burkina Faso to make its own decisions. Youth empowerment. He believes in the youth's role in shaping the future. Economic self-reliance. He focuses on boosting the country's economy. Core principles and values. Traoré's leadership is driven by a strong sense of national identity. He aims to improve life for Burkinabe citizens through economic growth and social welfare. Decision-making style. Traoré makes decisions by listening to many voices. He works with military leaders, political allies, and civil society representatives. Public perception and popular support. Most people see Traoré in a good light, especially the youth. They see him as a leader who gets their hopes and dreams. Youth movement behind Traoré. Youth have played a big role in supporting Traoré. They believe in his promises of change and reform. Urban versus rural support. Traoré has strong support in cities, but his rural support is mixed. He's working hard to improve life and security in rural areas to win more support. Burkina Faso's security challenges under Traoré since Captain Ibrahim Traoré took power. He has tackled Burkina Faso's growing security problems. The country faces a jihadist insurgency that has stretched its military thin and shaken its stability. The fight against jihadist insurgency, the jihadist threat in Burkina Faso, has been a long-standing issue. Traoré's team has had to tackle this complex security situation. Major security operations. The military has launched several major operations to fight the insurgency. Their goal is to take back lost territory and bring back security. These efforts are vital in the battle against jihadist groups. Territorial reclamation efforts. Securing territory from insurgent groups is a major focus. The military aims to secure key areas and boost security overall. Military reforms and strategic change. Traoré's government has started military reforms to make the armed forces more effective. These changes are key to fighting the jihadist insurgency. Restructuring the armed forces. Improving the armed forces is a big part of the reforms. This includes better training, equipment, and strategies. Volunteer Defense Program. The Volunteer Defense Program is another strategic move. It aims to strengthen local defenses and get communities involved in security. These steps show Traoré's dedication to improving Burkina Faso's security and facing the jihadist threat. The success of these efforts will be key to the region's future stability. Economic vision for a new Burkina Faso under Captain Traoré's leadership. Burkina Faso is starting a big change in its economy. The new plan is to grow in a way that's good for the planet and for the people. It includes changing old economic rules and starting new projects. Economic policies and development plans. Traoré's team is focusing on two main things: making farming better and improving the country's infrastructure. Agricultural transformation. The government wants to make farming modern by using new tech and methods. They're working on irrigation and growing crops that are worth more money. Infrastructure development. They're also spending a lot on building roads, bridges, and energy projects. This will help trade and make the economy grow. Resource nationalism and mining sector reforms. A big part of Traoré's plan is to control the country's resources, especially in mining. They're changing rules to make sure the country gets more benefits from its resources. Gold mining industry changes. The gold mining is a big deal. New rules will help more money stay in Burkina Faso and help local businesses grow. Foreign investment policies. Even with a focus on local control, they want to attract foreign investors too. They're making it easier for companies to come in by changing policies and offering incentives. Burkina Faso is on the path to growth and development. Success will depend on how well they do these things and how they work with other countries. A recent report says Burkina Faso's future looks bright. The new policies aim to boost local industries and cut down on foreign aid. The shift towards resource nationalism is a strategic move to ensure that Burkina Faso's natural resources benefit its people. Economic sector reform measures. Expected outcomes: agriculture modernization, irrigation projects, increased productivity, food security, infrastructure investment in roads, energy, improved trade facilitation, economic growth, mining, regulatory reforms, local beneficiation, higher revenue retention, job creation, breaking Western ties. Traoré's foreign policy shift. Under Captain Traoré, Burkina Faso is taking a new path in its international relations. This marks a big change from traditional Western alliances. Departure from French influence. The Traoré administration wants to lessen French influence in the country. This is shown in several key decisions. Expulsion of French military. One key action was the expulsion of French military forces from Burkina Faso. This move showed a break from decades of French military presence and intervention. Cultural and economic decolonization. There are also efforts towards cultural and economic decolonization. The goal is to reduce the country's dependency on French economic and cultural systems. New international alliances. As Burkina Faso moves away from French influence, it is looking for new international partnerships, strengthening ties with non-Western powers. Traoré's government is working to strengthen ties with non-Western powers, especially in Asia and other parts of Africa. This includes growing economic and diplomatic relations. Regional African partnerships. Regional African partnerships are also being built. This aims to enhance cooperation in security, trade, and infrastructure development. Aspect pre-Traoré era French military presence. Significant French military presence. Expulsion of French military forces. Economic influence. Strong French economic influence. Diversification of economic partnerships. International alliances, primarily Western alliances seeking non-Western alliances, and regional African partnerships. The change in Burkina Faso's foreign policy under Captain Traoré shows a wider trend. African nations are rethinking their international relationships. They are looking for more diverse and independent foreign policies. The Russia connection. Burkina Faso's new partnership. Burkina Faso has made a bold move by turning to Russia for support. This change comes under the leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traoré. The partnership includes military cooperation, economic ties, and political collaboration. Military cooperation. The military partnership between Burkina Faso and Russia is growing. This cooperation includes Wagner Group involvement. Reports suggest the Wagner Group, a Russian private military company, is involved in Burkina Faso's security. Military equipment and training. Russia is providing military equipment and training to Burkina Faso's forces. This helps them fight against jihadist insurgency. Economic and political relations beyond military ties. Burkina Faso and Russia are strengthening their economic and political bonds. Key areas include trade agreements and investment. The two countries are looking into new trade agreements and investment. This is especially true in the mining sector, which is vital for Burkina Faso's economy. Diplomatic support. Russia is offering diplomatic support to Burkina Faso in international forums. This helps the landlocked nation navigate global politics better. As Captain Traoré leads Burkina Faso towards more diverse international partnerships, its relationship with Russia is expected to grow. This will have big implications for regional and global geopolitics. Pan-Africanism in Traoré's governance. Captain Ibrahim Traoré's leadership is deeply rooted in Pan-Africanism. This philosophy focuses on African unity and solidarity. It greatly influences his leadership and policy decisions, both at home and abroad. Ideological foundations and rhetoric. Traoré's administration strongly follows Pan-African principles. He aims to strengthen African solidarity. His anti-colonial messaging resonates with many Africans seeking independence from foreign influence. Anti-colonial messaging. Traoré's government uses anti-colonial rhetoric to fight colonialism's effects in Africa. This message is part of a larger narrative. It aims to empower African nations to control their own destinies. African Unity Vision. Traoré dreams of a united Africa, where nations face challenges together. His vision is seen in his support for regional integration and African-led solutions. Practical applications and policy. Pan-Africanism is seen in Traoré's policies in several areas. His government has started regional integration initiatives. These aim to strengthen economic and political ties with neighboring countries. Regional integration initiatives enhanced economic cooperation with regional blocs. Collaboration on security issues to combat terrorism. Cultural exchange programs to promote African heritage. Support for African solutions. Traoré's government supports African solutions to African problems. This reduces reliance on foreign intervention. They back African-led peacekeeping missions and conflict resolution efforts. Initiative description. Impact regional economic cooperation. Strengthening economic ties within the region. Increased trade and investment. Security collaboration. Joint efforts to combat terrorism and insurgency. Enhanced regional security. Cultural exchange programs to promote African culture and heritage. Promoted African unity and identity. Young African leaders. Traoré, in the context of a new generation Africa, is seeing a change in leadership, with Captain Ibrahim Traoré leading the way. This new group of leaders is bringing new ideas and ways to keep the peace. Comparison with other young African leaders. Traoré is not the only young leader. Mali's Assimi Goïta is similar, having a military background and rising to power. Similarities with Mali's Assimi Goïta. Both Traoré and Goïta took power through military coups. This shows a trend where old political ways are being questioned. Differences from democratic young leaders. Traoré and others like him took power differently than some young leaders. They came through coups, not democratically. This has sparked debates about Africa's future. Generational shift in African politics. The rise of young leaders like Traoré marks a big change in African politics. This change is due to more young people and the power of social media, youth demographics, and political change. With many young people in Africa, there's a chance for big political changes. Young energy and new ideas are driving these changes. Social media and modern leadership. Social media is key for modern African leaders. It lets them talk directly to people and shape public opinion. The Alliance of Sahel States. Regional cooperation under Traoré. Captain Ibrahim Traoré has led Burkina Faso in creating the Alliance of Sahel States. This group aims to improve security and economic stability in the Sahel region. Formation and purpose of the alliance. The alliance was created to tackle security and economic issues in the region. It includes Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. They work together to boost security and economic ties. Founding principles and goals. The alliance is based on mutual defense and cooperation. Its main goals are to strengthen security through joint military operations and to support economic growth through shared projects. Organizational structure. The alliance has a council of ministers from each country. This council makes policies and decisions. It helps the alliance respond to the needs of its members. Collaboration with Mali and Niger. The alliance has helped Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger work together. They focus on security and economic ties. Joint security operations. One key area of cooperation is joint security operations. The countries work together to fight terrorism and other threats. Economic integration plans. The alliance also aims to boost economic ties. They plan to work on joint infrastructure projects and make trade easier among members. Member state security contributions, economic initiatives, Burkina Faso troop deployments, infrastructure development, Mali intelligence sharing, trade facilitation, Niger border security, joint mining projects, domestic reforms, and social policies. Captain Traoré has started several important domestic reforms to help Burkinabe citizens. These changes aim to tackle the country's big challenges. They aim to make life better for everyone. Education and healthcare initiative. Traoré's government focuses a lot on education and healthcare. They see these areas as key to a stronger society. They want to invest in them to make a big difference. School building programs. The education sector has a big plan, the school building program. It's all about getting more kids to school. They're building new schools and fixing old ones, especially in places that need it most. Healthcare system improvements in healthcare. Traoré's team is working hard to make things better. They're upgrading hospitals, training more doctors, and getting more medicines. They want everyone to have access to good healthcare, addressing poverty and inequality. Traoré's social policies also tackle poverty and inequality. The government has started many projects to help. They want to even out the playing field for everyone in Burkina Faso. Rural development projects. Rural development projects are a big part of this effort. They're all about better roads, more farms, and more services in rural areas. It's about making life better for people living in the countryside. Youth employment programs. The government also has youth employment programs. These programs help young people get the skills and jobs they need. It's all about fighting poverty and growing the economy. Human rights concerns and democratic transition. Captain Ibrahim Traoré's leadership in Burkina Faso is under close scrutiny. The world is watching how his military rule affects human rights and democratic transition. The country's future is uncertain as it tries to keep security and follow democratic values. Civil liberties under military rule. The current rule's impact on civil liberties is a big worry. The government struggles to keep security while protecting individual rights. Press freedom issues. Press freedom is a major concern. The military government has made moves seen as limiting media freedom. This has raised fears of censorship and silenced dissent. Treatment of political opposition. The way the government treats political opponents is also a worry. There have been crackdowns on them. This has led to questions about the government's commitment to democracy and human rights. Promises and timeline for return to democracy. Captain Traoré's government has vowed to bring Burkina Faso back to democracy. They have outlined a plan with several key steps. Constitutional reform process. The constitutional reform process is a vital part of the transition. It aims to update the constitution to match democratic values and support good governance. Election planning and preparations. The government is also planning for elections. This is a complex task that needs careful preparation. It's important to make sure the elections are fair and truly represent the people's choice. The future of Burkina Faso under Captain Traoré's leadership is being watched closely. The balance between security and democracy is fragile. The next few months will be critical in shaping the country's path. Public support versus international criticism. Captain Ibrahim Traoré, one of Africa's youngest leaders, keeps a strong home base. Yet, he faces harsh words from the world. Domestic popularity and support. Traoré's appeal in Burkina Faso comes from many groups. Urban youth movement. The urban youth see Traoré as a change agent. They believe he's bold and shaking things up. Traditional leaders stance. Traditional leaders back Traoré. They value his efforts to regain national control and tackle security issues. International community's response. Despite his home support, Traoré's rule is heavily criticized abroad. Western sanctions and pressure. Western sanctions pose a big hurdle for Traoré. These penalties stem from the military coup and doubts about democracy. African Union and ECOWAS positions. The African Union and ECOWAS have mixed views on Traoré. They worry about the coup but also want regional stability. Support/criticism. Domestic view. International view. Urban youth strong support. Mixed reactions. Traditional leaders supported limited engagement. Western countries in/a critical. Imposed sanctions. African Union/ECOWAS and/a concern. Engage. The Thomas Sankara influence on Traoré's vision. Captain Ibrahim Traoré is building on Thomas Sankara's work for Burkina Faso's future. Sankara's ideas still shape politics in Burkina Faso. Sankara's revolutionary legacy in Burkina Faso. Historical context of Sankara's rule. Thomas Sankara ruled from 1983 to 1987. He made big changes in social, economic, and environmental areas. His goal was to make Burkina Faso strong and independent from outside powers. Enduring popular memory. Sankara is still loved in Burkina Faso. He stood up against colonialism and fought for African unity. Leaders like Traoré often talk about his legacy, parallels in leadership and policy approaches. Anti-imperialist rhetoric. Sankara and Traoré both spoke out against Western control. They looked for new friends, especially Russia. Their foreign policies show this. We must reject the aid that comes with conditions, for it is a form of slavery. Thomas Sankare's self-reliance philosophy also believes in being self-sufficient, just like Sankara. They both want to use Burkina Faso's own resources more. They aim to cut down on foreign aid, promoting local agricultural production, investing in renewable energy, enhancing regional trade. Traore is using Sankara's ideas to win support for his plans. He wants Burkina Faso to be more independent and wealthy. Conclusion: the future of Burkina Faso under Captain Ibrahim Traoré. Captain Ibrahim Traoré has brought a fresh perspective to Burkina Faso. His vision is to move away from old Western ways. As the youngest leader, his plans will shape the country's future. Under Traoré, Burkina Faso will focus on military and economic changes. It will also work more with the alliance of Sahel states. His ties with Russia and others could make Burkina Faso a stronger African leader. Success for Traoré will mean balancing security, growth, and democracy. The world will watch how he handles these challenges. This will show how his leadership affects the region. In the end, Captain Ibrahim Traoré's leadership will greatly influence Burkina Faso and Africa. His vision could leave a significant mark on African politics and regional ties. FAQ: Who is Captain Ibrahim Traoré? Captain Ibrahim Traoré is the current leader of Burkina Faso. He is one of Africa's youngest leaders. What is Captain Traoré's vision for Burkina Faso? Traoré wants to change how Burkina Faso is run. He focuses on security, growing the economy, and supporting Africa. How did Captain Traoré come to power? Traoré took power in 2022 through a military coup. He overthrew the old government. What are the key elements of Traoré's economic vision? Traoré plans to boost the economy by changing farming, building new roads, and improving mining. He's especially focused on gold mining. How has Traoré's leadership impacted Burkina Faso's foreign policy? Traoré has changed Burkina Faso's foreign policy. He's moved away from France and towards Russia and other non-Western countries. What is the Alliance of Sahel States? The Alliance of Sahel States is a group led by Traoré. It aims to improve security and economic ties among Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. What are the main human rights concerns under Traoré's rule? There are worries about press freedom, treatment of opposition, and civil liberties under Traoré's rule. How does Traoré's leadership compare to other young African leaders? Traoré is compared to Mali's Assimi Goïta. Both are young military leaders, but they differ in their rise to power and policies. What is the significance of Thomas Sankare's legacy to Traoré? Sankare's legacy inspires Traoré. It shows a commitment to self-reliance and supporting Africa, which Traoré follows. What are the prospects for a return to democracy in Burkina Faso under Traoré? Traoré promises to bring back democracy. He plans to reform the constitution and hold elections. But the details are still unclear. How has the international community responded to Traoré's leadership? The West has criticized and sanctioned Traoré, but African groups have different views on his leadership. What domestic reforms has Traoré implemented? Traoré has started reforms in education, healthcare, and poverty. He's building schools and creating jobs for young people. Captain Ibrahim Traoré is the current and youngest head of state in Africa, having come to power in Burkina Faso through a military coup in 2022. Born in 1988, he rose quickly through the ranks of the military and now leads with a strong anti-imperialist stance, advocating for national sovereignty, security, and Pan-African unity in the face of regional instability and foreign influence. Thanks for watching the video, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.